Here we are. Welcome, UTB Blogcast 33 with Dave, Bartron, Roy, and me.
And you.
Hi. And me.
Yes.
Jolly
good then.
Starting. Say what?
It's jolly good then, yes.
What are we none of the jollies are on here. The British are afraid of us. Actually, they're all in bed right now. And the Australians had a raring, tearing time last night. The only thing that we saw was one photo of a lot of blackberries on what looked like a picnic table, I believe. So the entire Australian group got together, and Wayno was injured.
The British are not coming.
So, Mobile World Congress next week. BlackBerry will be there. What are we expecting?
Probably a bunch of gas bags talking about stuff that. No. I don't know. Pretty much the only thing I'm aware of is what people are looking for another device to come out, more than likely an Android unit. So, does anybody know rumored specs on that?
I don't even know rumored device. There's been so many rumors. There's been rumors of the rendering we saw, the Vienna. I've heard rumors of a Android passport, which, I mean, really, if they're just talking about the form factor, a keyboarded candy bar type phone would be the same as a Vienna or passport, just depending on the dimensions.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess all I've heard about is the Vienna kind of unit, and I think we spoke about it before. It kind of looks like a 4x5, not a 16x9, but a 4x5, not a 1-to-1 like the Passport, with the keyboard exposed all the time, just like a Passport. And was it a 4-row? And the insinuation is that it's going to be running Android and a less expensive device than the Priv offering has been at its rollout. So what that means price-wise, I'm not sure, and what the specs are. I guess you wouldn't expect it to have the same specs as the Priv rolled out, so kind of wondering what those are, what they might be.
From my sources, from what I know, it's going to be a classic-like device, small screen. I published it in the UTB blogs forum. Yay. There is much more important thing that what device we're going to see is that John Chen statements from the past is that if they're gonna release a new Android phone, it must be if the Priv is successful. So if you're gonna see a new device this week, there is Bartron was.
He disappeared. He'll be back.
Yeah. So if we're gonna see a new device this week or next month, it means that the Priv is successful by BlackBerry definition. Too successful. So it's much more important than what device we're gonna see. But from what I know, it's gonna be a classic shape device.
That's really interesting and a good point that you bring up, because you're right. The statement was that in order to bring out another one, this one we just put out has to be successful. So I like that. That's a good point.
And
I think we're all
I don't think that the Priv sold so many units to be successful by our definition, but maybe for from BlackBerry Vision, it's much more than we think.
Yeah, and I mean, we want to see millions of them out there, but that's not going to be the case. And And as long as they're seeing hardware profitability from that, or at least, we know that today we've sold enough to break even, and therefore the rest is gravy. Whatever it is, they've made the decision. It sounds like, to bring out another device based on them saying it needs to be the Priv needs to be a success.
I don't think there was ever any thought that it was going to meet iPhone numbers. That was never the goal. The goal was to see growth and profitability, and I have a feeling that at the next earnings call we're going to see that.
I hope so.
I just don't see the market case for a classic Android device, because I mean, honestly, when you're looking at the Priv, that's aimed at the greater market and those BlackBerry users that just want the next BlackBerry device. I don't think the Priv is something that's really gathered many of the hardcore BlackBerry fans. The ones that are using the classics, some of the ones that are using the Passport. I don't see that being the same market. And when you're talking about Android users, they want that big fat screen and their game apps. And
maybe, but if you look at those Android users, it used to be a BlackBerry user, so maybe in surveys or whatever BlackBerry did before they choose what device they are going to make, maybe they saw that CEOs and chairmen or other executives want a device like the Classic, but with software of the Android app gap, customization, and
right. So you're thinking that it's a form factor first, and and then very, very close second access to apps.
Yeah. That's what I think. Maybe they're gonna release a bigger size screen device. I don't know, but
yeah.
I want a Passport device.
Passport form factor?
No, just a Passport device, BB10.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a tough device to say no to. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to show a prototype, or I guess a version of the Priv running Marshmallow.
I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that at all.
I'm sure they're going to give an
update.
update. I'm sure they're going to give an update because people are waiting for it. So they'll probably give an update. I'm quite sure of that. But I'm starting to wonder now if they'll probably have a Priv running it just so people can try it out. That wouldn't surprise me.
Well, we're getting close to the time that we're expecting to see it, right? First quarter this year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about time we saw some more. That was a bad joke.
I didn't hear it, so.
Well, marshmallow, s'mores. Want to see
there
some more, Jokes are bad when you have to explain them.
Anyone still think that we're going to see a Android BlackBerry tablet this year?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I still can't get that out of my head. I just can't. He was very clear that we were going to see two devices. I don't know. I'm still thinking that there's going to be an Android-powered tablet coming out from BlackBerry. I think we will.
I figure the second device will either be a tablet, whether Android or BB10, most likely Android, or it would be maybe a Passport with updated specs, because the specs, by the time when you hit fall, it'll be 2 years old, the specs of the Passport. So, it is supposed to be cutting-edge device, so that would make sense. But then again, I really want a passport too.
Yeah.
As much
I
as I
think
love
we
my
all do.
passport, I'm really looking forward to the passport too to see what kind of awesomeness they would put into it. So it's probably just my wishful thinking talking.
Well, we all have that, the dreams of the device that fits our personal needs.
But I mean, it's not like something like the Classic. The Classic is not about having cutting edge specs. So you wouldn't see an update to the Classic like every year. But the Passport, when it was released, was all about cutting edge innovation. So by the time you get to the fall, October, it's going to be 2 years old that the Passport specs are. So I think it should be. I don't know if it will.
It's still though, like I mean, I'm back on my Passport now. I was on the Classic for a while, and the Classic I'm still just amazed by. It is by far the best keyboard I have ever used on a mobile device. But I got a new case for my AT&T rounded corner Passport, so it's like I wanted to use it, and just coming back to the Passport after a week or two that I was off, there is still nothing else out there that compares to the Passport. There just isn't. I mean, as nice as the Priv is, and it is, and I have something I could say about the Priv positive tonight, but as nice as the Priv is, it doesn't hold a candle to the Passport. And there's no Samsung or iCrap out there that does either. What you laughing for, Dave?
Oh, nothing. I'm just funning ya. You were having such a good time. Was it last week or the week before? having a bit of an issue with it, and wanting to see if it would be like spaghetti if you threw it against the wall. But
Yeah.
But I was quite surprised and gave you a big hug this week when you started to talk, a little bit nicer about it, and I'm glad you want to bring that up and share it with everybody.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if they would, because BlackBerry just announced their integration of some of Good's technology into Bez, I think it was. Wasn't just a few weeks ago or a month ago. So I'm wondering if they would actually have some kind of a demo set up so people can check it out.
Well, it's their opportunity to show the world that's what it's for. That's Mobile World Congress. Show us what you got. It's like CES only just for mobile. So
I'm just trying to think of all the new stuff that's purely mobile, and really that's probably the only thing I can think of now. Yeah.
You're talking about the update to Bez?
Yeah, they integrated some of Good technology into it, and it was maybe a month ago or so they announced that or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was actually more recent than that, but what's awesome about that is kind of what we were expecting, which now it's not just mobile devices that we're seeing Bez protect and control. Now it's got the controls for the Windows PCs and the Mac PCs, and
right.
That's I think that right there is just showing what good brought to the table.
Yeah, fair enough. And as we all get more mobile in our business and personal lives, that kind of forward thinking is going to do nothing but enrich the bottom line. So anybody that's in this space needs to concentrate on all mobile devices, all OSs. Absolutely.
Oh wait, isn't 10.3.3 supposed to be released in March?
Yes, next month.
Yeah, maybe they'll have a demo of that.
Well, there could be. I don't know what they're going to demo. I kind of thought it was going to be security related, So maybe they'll show us some deeper, security certifications. Although I don't know how much better you can get than the FIPS certs that they've already got, but things progress. So that would be interesting.
It's kind of hard to speculate on what they're going to do when we really have nothing to to run with.
Yeah. Let's see. I think they'll bring pink party balloons. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Or not.
If they're gonna show a new device or make a statement about something new, I think it's the first time that BlackBerry can keep a secret.
Right.
Usually,
That's gonna be
before such things, we see leaks or.
Yeah. Let's hope that's it, Roy. Otherwise, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If BlackBerry brings out a new device next week, and we haven't seen or heard anything of it, I can imagine there's going to be a few sites scurrying away. And what's that guy's name? The one leaker guy that
EV Leaks.
Yeah, EV Leaks, who swore that he would have info on this next device, and he still doesn't. So I would love to see John Chen pull out a phone that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
I think that BlackBerry will not even announce a new phone. So maybe just like the Priv, like what they did in the beginning, they will show us the new device for a couple of seconds, and then we start to speculate like the Priv until October when the device will be released, or November.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody on the planet, enlarging a grainy picture and trying to figure out the icons. And what the hell is that thing? I don't know.
It was announced on the Mobile World Congress or CES?
Yeah, no, it was Mobile World Congress last year, I believe.
So 1 year ago.
I think so.
John Chen can bring this time to the table.
You never know.
Next up.
Yeah.
More of a pat on the back for two people that aren't here. Inside BlackBerry posted the reviews from the Priv being released in India, Africa, and Australia. And on that page, two of the names should be familiar to us. We had Wayno, that's usually here but can't be here today because he's hungover and bitten. And
is he twice shy though? That's what I want to know.
Australian version of Quen.
Yeah.
Yeah, only he's got scars to show it.
Yeah. Wayno got quoted for his UTB blogs post, and then Abby, our doctor, the guy that wrote that amazing saving a patient's life story that got picked up and then interviewed by Inside BlackBerry, he was quoted again, not for something on UTB, but on another site, unfortunately named Daily O, or I guess fortunate if you get a Daily O, good for you. But
yeah.
So anyway, congrats to those two guys. It's always a good thing when you see BlackBerry's reading you, and those two guys both got it at the same time today.
Yeah, way to go, Abby. You put the onk in oncology. Whatever. I don't even know what that means. It just sounded funny at the time. I don't know. Something. That's good. It's more exposure. Obviously, the device is getting into a lot more hands all over the planet. I don't know if there's more rollouts for other countries soon. I think it's pretty much worldwide now. But
I know there's another country that's still awaiting their rollout. Huh, Roy?
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
A lot of delays this month, so maybe the early March we will see the Priv. It's so difficult to launch a new device in Israel. A lot of bureaucracy, so I'm still waiting to my review.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we should play a Tom Petty song because the waiting's the hardest part.
Yeah.
What can you do? But congrats anyway. Way to go, Wayno.
Yeah.
And way to go, Abhishek, for excellent contributions. Excellent, making more people aware. And thanks for being in the club. Beautiful.
Yeah, something you want to tell us, Dave?
No.
You find Abby a little more attractive than Wayno? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I pressed the rewind button on what I just said, and I don't think I got what you're getting at. Hey, if it made you laugh, then hey, winning.
Before we get on to Apple Watch, I am going to talk about the Priv for a minute because I wasn't planning on it and I didn't put it on.
I think we all want to hear this anyway.
Anyone that knows me knows that I've had the Priv for a while and haven't been exactly happy with it. The phone is
less
beautiful.
Than enamored, are we?
Yeah, somewhat less than. And I mean, the phone's beautiful. If I could get BB10 on this phone, I would be running up and down the streets, excited and happy about it. But I can't. So I've been dealing with Android, which I am a long-time Android user, never as my primary device, and usually just tablets. Anything from the newest Samsung to a cheap $40 tablet you could pick up on sale somewhere. I've just always had one. They're just gadgets to have. And I've always been frustrated beyond belief by Android. Going to the BlackBerry Priv, I still have a lot of my frustrations, except that the phone is actually usable. That's what I've been saying the whole time, is like if I couldn't have a BlackBerry 10 phone, I could actually use the Priv. Whereas I couldn't say that same thing about a Samsung or an HTC. There's just no way I could do it. But I've been doing like what Dave suggested and blogged, and I think what Wayno's doing, and trying to do it without Google as much as possible. And I think that's where a lot of my frustrations fell in. And I said it in group before I actually started doing anything, was that's it, I'm just going to sell my soul to Google and I'm going to try it. Because I figure they've already, I've got a Gmail account. I figure they've already got everything on me anyway. And if anybody's going to protect as much privacy as possible in this Google age, it's going to be BlackBerry. So if I'm going to actually try out full Google, it's going to be on a BlackBerry before it's going to be on something else. And doing so and making a few adjustments to my hub, I'm actually finding I'm enjoying the device. There are some crazy things that happen that still frighten me, even though I chose to give Google access that I never thought I would. And it's scary. But I can understand that people that aren't concerned about those things would appreciate those things. I mean, it's almost like, well, no, it is like Google is outthinking you. Whatever tricks they have up their sleeves, they make it really convenient for people that are more concerned about convenience than what are they doing with my information. So I don't know where else to go with that other than I do appreciate the Priv quite a bit more than I did 2 weeks ago, but I kind of had to sell my soul to do it.
So give me a quickie rundown of specific apps or features that you turned on and or started using that made you sort of assisted you to change your mind a little bit. I'm curious because I still haven't touched one Google thing on my phone except for YouTube.
There's basically two things I did, and these are what are nice, because I mean, what I use my phone, what I'm using my Priv for mainly is for UTB stuff. I'm
Right.
still not going to make purchases online on it. I'm sorry, I'm paranoid. I just can't do it. You know, if I'm going to order something or pay a bill or do anything financially, I'm reaching for my passport. And I'm not saying there's any reason why you can't do that on the Priv, except I'm paranoid and I don't want to do that. So what I've been using,
I hear you on that one. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So what I've been using my Priv for is UTB, basically, looking for stuff, saving stuff, and there's two apps that I've started using that it's the Google Now, which that's where I initially signed off and said, here, you own me now, Google, and then Google Keep, which is a kind of a note app. It's kind of an Evernote, kind of a Remember app, and I will say that it's the best of those apps that I've used, because it will save a full web page as a web page, open it in the browser. It's real quick. It's nice. You can draw on it. You can do. It's really dumbed down from Evernote to Keep. It is. It's really simple. Evernote's not quite as simple. And then it just has more features than, say, Remember, which Remember is what I use on my passport, and I love Remember. And then I just changed my Swift swipe shortcuts on my hub, and that in itself made me a much happier camper. And that's something that you don't have to sell your soul to Google to do, but actually sit there and decide.
When you have a message in your hub, like an email, what happens when you swipe it left or what happens when you swipe it right? You changed that?
Yeah, I swapped those out. I'm sure most people did that like on their first day, but I was pretty frustrated with the hub being different than the hub on BlackBerry 10 and didn't really see the point in torturing myself from the beginning.
Yeah. And so what did you change those swiping things to be? I've left, when I swipe left, it's a delete. And I changed my swipe right to be a toggle between read and unread.
Yeah, mine is swipe right to delete, because I'm right-handed and I delete more than anything, and swipe left is to flag. So I can actually, between the swipes, I really feel that I can work my inbox now faster on my Priv than I can my passport, as far as just reading and deciding if it's something I'm going to come back to. I can do that faster on there. Now, if it comes down to actually communicating, you know, replying, answering to things, sending things that I need to send along with those emails, it's passport all the way. There's no denying that.
That's interesting. For me, the BlackBerry 10 hub, you have to be careful with this, or at least I do. You turn on the triage aspect in the top right of the hub, and then it gives you the garbage can on the right-hand side. And I just love going bang, 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 bang to all the garbage cans and just watching them disappear. And it's so fast, way faster to me than swiping and watching this red bar stick there, like a stick in the mud, saying undo. And you can't make that go faster. You know what I mean? Like if you click on the garbage can in that red bar, it stops what it's doing. So I find the triage in BlackBerry 10's hub with the garbage cans, boom, 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 they're gone. That's way faster to me. But maybe I just get a whole hell of a lot more spam than you do. I don't know.
Well, like I said, reading for me is faster. Working the inbox is faster on the passport.
Yeah.
Next up, I'm going to try and get this in before Ian leaves us, as he's trying to do, and I think he's sitting there BBMing me back. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
La la la.
I'll put my input in point form. Like reading a slide, PowerPoint or something.
Apple Watch. Not the Apple Watch, but I've decided we're going to call this whole mess of Apple versus the U.S. government Apple Watch. You know, like how they do Terrorism Watch or Kardashian Watch 2016. So it's going to be Apple Watch.
I prefer smoke screen. You know the old saying in magic, if the action is happening here, then the magic is happening over here.
That's right. Look over here. Yeah.
Hey, look at this. Look at all this stuff we're supporting your privacy. Blah blah blah. How strong we're fighting for your privacy, and behind the scenes, yeah, sure. Here we go. Well, we got the code written. I wouldn't be surprised if the code's already written. And
I wouldn't either.
Waiting, and they're just waiting. It's yeah, I don't really have. I did my ranting on Wednesday, so I don't really have much to say other than I'm convinced that this is just a smokescreen, because of when the fappening and all those privacy issues came up, Cook and Apple decided to try to repair the damage by stating how strongly they support protect users' privacy, and they went so far as to say they'd fight the government on it and blah blah blah, and now they have a situation where the government has a good reason for it, and they should be doing it, but they're just trying to save face. That's pretty much all I have to say. That's all I can say without insulting a bunch of people and going on another rant.
Oh yeah, we had our UTB special podcast because we thought it was important enough to do on Wednesday, and we were ranting and we were angry, and Dave told us before we started not to do that this week. So I'm not making any promises, Dave.
Well,
I'll say one more thing. I'll say one more
rules
thing.
And then there's guidelines.
I'll just say one more thing. This whole slippery slope argument that people are using, nothing but fear-mongering. That is all it is. It is nothing but fear-mongering, and it's always followed up by straw man fallacy. People look at straw man fallacy, and in fact, they give an example. If you'll go into Wikipedia page, example, it's a generalization, and so, if you just insert the backdoor for all users, and yeah, that's all it is. It's just fear-mongering, and okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Wait, that's twice.
If you say one thing twice, does that count as one thing or two things?
I don't know.
Should be one.
I don't know. I want to hear what Roy has to say.
My personal, I'm still tired.
Wake up, Roy! Wake up!
For me, I told you when we were offline, when it comes to terror, to national security, and from where I come, there is nothing like privacy or human rights. If a person make a terror attack, kill innocent people, just because you don't want them here, or you want to control the country, or whatever is thinking, Apple should, every company should help the government. Doesn't matter what is the consequences. If you can save 100 million lives, it's much more important than one device or one person human rights. I think Apple can unlock the device in a secure lab, push an software update just for this device, and then they will not have a backdoor to all the device. I don't think even the FBI needs a backdoor because Apple already said that the Apple engineers help the FBI. So basically, if you have the iCloud, the FBI can get whatever they want. I think it's a stunt from Apple and from the FBI because the FBI want to show power and Apple want to show that they keep the customer privacy. When basically we saw in the last few years that keeping is the last thing that Apple doing for the customers who uses the iPhone. For me, I don't think that in a democratic country, if you have a court order, Apple can refuse to follow the court order. They can take it to the higher jurisdiction
Higher
or something.
court, yeah.
Yeah, another court. But to say we will not do it in such, which I think it's breaking the law. And
Right.
If I am the DOJ and I'm using Apple phones, I will tell them take your phones away. I will take Android or BlackBerry or even Windows Phone, and we don't want to work with a company that betrayed or treason. It's a big words, but that for me that's what they do. Even if the name was BlackBerry or whatever company, it's not specific versus Apple.
Well, that's the thing. To sell a product, to bring a product out, you've got to abide by the laws. Be it something like this, where you have to be able to be served a warrant, or if it's just something like what each one of these places do and goes through the FCC, or safety rules or anything. There's laws that you have to abide by if you're going to be a company making a product in the United States. If they don't want to do that, they can do exactly what BlackBerry was about to do with Pakistan and leave, right? BlackBerry didn't want to abide by the rules that Pakistan wanted. They wanted a backdoor. They wanted full access. And BlackBerry was going to leave. Like Ian is leaving right now. Bye, Ian. Or Partron. I don't understand how this is in question. And what's bothering me about this is that Tim Cook has completely changed the conversation. That what he is arguing against in his letter is not what the court is asking for. And he's doing this to start a discussion that would have been had this year. Now, why do I, a BlackBerry user that runs a BlackBerry site, why am I so obsessed with this? Because this is going to affect all of us. This is going to start the battle between the governments and what level of encryption we're allowed to have. And when that fight happens, and it needs to happen soon, Apple should not be the ones leading the charge. It needs to be a company that is like BlackBerry. It needs to be a company that's actually been concerned about our privacy and security during their life. Not a company that 3 years ago was a prime example of
what
information gone wrong.
Yeah.
The Project Prism, the Edward Snowden papers, Dropout Jeep was specific to the iPhone. Apple had no problem giving free rein access to the NSA that wasn't warranted, that shouldn't be legal, that the American people are upset about and really embarrassed of as far as what we look like to the rest of the world. Apple had no problem with that then, but now trying to recover their name as a secure company that they never were, they're leading the charge in this battle that they shouldn't even be a part of.
Yeah, and I get, if this whole conversation were just to start today, then I get somebody standing up and saying, no, I won't do that. I get that, because that can be how laws do get changed. There are stupid laws on this planet, and it does take somebody to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to do that, in order for laws to get changed. And often it's someone of note or of importance or something, or ubiquitous. It takes people like that to stand up and say, well, you know what, no. But I'm with I'm on the bandwagon that says, well, notwithstanding that you guys never cared before, like Brad says, never cared, and now all of a sudden you do, for some interesting reason, which probably has something to do with your share price or something. I don't know.
Numbers.
They're innovative. You're going to stand up here and be that hero. I'm not subscribing to that, but it does. That notwithstanding, in this particular case, I'm with you, Roy. You have to park the overall paranoid insinuation or assumption that giving somebody the key to this one single phone somehow makes it that every phone is capable of being unlocked now, willy-nilly, all the time. This one thing opened the floodgates. I don't get that. I get. Go ahead.
Especially when the device, the most of the information from the device already taken, so it's not such secure, so they can't unlock it. They just need some things that they didn't synchronize with the iCloud. It's outrageous from my point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I was upset earlier, and I'm not upset anymore. I'm now more interested in how these chess pieces are being moved around, and how people are changing their stories and adding to their stories now. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. It's interesting that Apple got an extension to retort, And
Did they get an extension? I thought they were. Does it beyond the 5 days it was in the original court order?
Well, I thought that D-Day was like today or yesterday or something, and they got an extension until next week. Yeah.
They got an extension.
To next week.
Yeah, because there's no hurry to get a terrorist investigation underway, is there?
No, of course not. I mean, what the hell? I mean, another 15 or maybe even 1,000 people. I mean, it's Apple.
I do think that people's actions are. I was going to do a blog post on this today, but I had to go somewhere instead. But I think what people are reacting and what they're wanting to be seen is different than what they're actually doing too. We've seen two people come forward and make statements. One was the Google CEO in his multi-part tweet, where he said that hacking and having to hack into our systems is bad, but we will provide lawful access to the government, right? He said these two things, and I think they're trying to ride the line so that they can sound like yeah, we're on board your safety, but he didn't say anything about we would ever create a product that would make it impossible to have warrants served on us, which is what Apple has tried to do. He said that they would, that they are helping with government requests if they need be, just like every other company in the United States has always done. But Cook was asked question A. he argued against and gave answer C. They're two entirely different topics. So the Google CEO is agreeing with Cook on what Cook's saying, but at the same time, he's saying he's still going to abide by the law. It's two entirely different topics, and that's what people are failing to understand. A lot of people are only looking at what Cook says and says, well, that's bad. You know, of course the government shouldn't have a back door into our system. Of course they shouldn't have full access to run surveillance on us. But that's not what the government is asking for. I think they learned their lesson with Project Prism as far as, well, if they're going to surveil us, it's not going to be in such a public way. Put it that way. They're not going to ask Apple for a backdoor to have full access because that will come out at some point. And that's not what they're asking for, while Cook is arguing that they shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
The other person is the guy from McAfee, right? He said, was it today, that he could crack that phone in 3 weeks and offered to do it for free. But
you know what?
His reasoning behind it, I'm sorry, I'll shut up after that, but his reasoning behind it was that he doesn't think Apple should have to crack their own phone. So it's not like he's concerned about the law. He's saying, yeah, don't make them hack their product.
Yeah, John McAfee is the person that I think the American authorities looking for. I think he breaks some laws, and he's an unstable guy.
Yeah, he's very unstable. And along those lines, thank you for the segue, Brad. I don't think he wants to crack the phone. I think he wants to phone for some crack.
I have two things. First, I think the FBI and the American government will try to show some power over Apple if they still refuse to obey the court order. And I think that the American government can sanction Apple and don't use their phone, or even ban Apple products from the US. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Apple is not an American company. They're Irish by laws, but taxes. I'm right? Yeah.
According to Apple, yes. They don't have to pay taxes here.
So
I think we got to change our Apple articles to have, like, some kind of four-leaf clover fonts.
What you can expect from an un-American company. I think that a real American company will never betray the country and never do it for this.
Yeah, that's what I wrote in a comment on one of Brad's articles, which I read. Anyway.
Read our articles.
Yeah. It was like,
week,
come on, Tim. Crack open the phone. Let's do it. We all know you can. Because, if you're not going to, at least you should support the investigation that way, because you refuse to support it with American tax dollars. So at least do something, anything. If you're not going to support the investigation with your tax dollars, then crack open the phone. You wimp. How about a list of certain people that think what that I found on the subject? You want to hear a little bits and pieces of that?
Oh, yeah, go for it, Dave.
All right. How about some people that are with Apple? The ACLU. They're calling the order an unprecedented and unwise and unlawful move by the government. So they're obviously pro-Apple. Here's one. I'm just going to skip around. Anonymous. Anonymous, right? They pick on someone. Most often they're people that people like us don't like. Right. and they do subterfuge, usually electronically, to deal with it. And so on their official Twitter feed, I'm reading this, the hacker group has been retweeting Edward Snowden and others sharing concerns about the FBI's request. Anonymous also said that the White House willfully misrepresents what government is asking Apple to do in order to expand surveillance powers. Now, I can read that two ways, but these guys put it in a pro-Apple column. Edward Snowden, the privacy crusader, says on Twitter that FBI is creating a world where citizens rely on Apple to defend their rights rather than the other way around. He added, "This is the most important tech case in a decade." And I thought that was a good one because, you know, are people relying on companies like Apple to defend their rights? And if so, how that's a wacky way to be. If we're in a situation where you're going to trust Apple or Tim Cook or somebody more than your own government, then I think we may or may not have a rather massive problem.
I think.
I want to comment on those two of the first three. I'm not going to comment on Anonymous because, if you piss them off, they could take down UTB in 10 seconds and we'd never see it again.
I just don't want them to turn off.
Good job, Anonymous. But
I don't want them to turn off my Netflix, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. I got Daredevil's coming back. But
that's what I'm saying.
But that first one, read the first one again. Oh, no, I remember. The issue is the precedent. No, the precedent is that Apple has decided to make a product that cannot comply with the law. Period. Yes. And where Snowden is talking about our rights, we have never had the right to stand in the way of an investigation. If you do, you're arrested. You're thrown in jail. Period. Yes. The only thing we have the right to do that would hinder an investigation is not to incriminate ourselves or our spouse. And guess what? Yeah. They're both dead, like they should be. Right. So neither of them are doing it. This is Apple and Tim Cook standing in the way and trying to make it sound like they're standing up for rights that we have had, and we've never had those rights. Those are not rights that we should have.
Yeah. So here's another one. This is a peach. Google. CEO Sundar Pichai, I'm probably saying that wrong, Pichai, said on Twitter that forcing companies to enable hacking could compromise users' privacy, and it could be a troubling precedent. This is Google.
What about selling all of our information to advertising?
Google
has a troubling precedent.
Google has a stand on privacy. Right.
We don't want your information to go to the government, but we will give it to Colgate-Palmolive and
Yeah, they pay better than the government.
Yeah. Okay, moving right along. Here's a couple more gems for you. WhatsApp CEO Jan Koum writes on Facebook, funny in itself.
Wow,
I have always admired Tim Cook for his stance on privacy. We must not allow this dangerous precedent to be set. Today, our freedom and our liberty is at stake. Now, this is WhatsApp, right?
Yeah, the guy from WhatsApp talking on Facebook, so we've got a double Facebook company, which, of course they admire Tim Cook because they were both involved in Project Prism. Yay!
Yeah.
And my God. That even the Israeli local police can hack the WhatsApp service for information, so what the hell is he talking about? People don't use WhatsApp because
so funny.
We don't.
Yeah. And here's Facebook releasing a statement on Thursday just after Jack Dorsey tweeted his support. And they say, "We condemn terrorism and have total solidarity with victims of terror. Those who seek to praise, promote, or plan terrorist attacks have no place on our services." Which, of course, they do all day, every day. "We also appreciate the difficult and essential work of law enforcement to keep people safe. When we receive lawful requests from these authorities, we comply. However, we will continue to fight aggressively against requirements for companies to weaken the security of their systems. These demands would create a chilling precedent and obstruct companies' efforts to secure their products. And here is the most leaky boat in the fleet talking about...
Not leaky, Dave. They're giving it away freely. They are now taking users' private conversations, not through their timelines, but through their private PMs. As their, PMs mean private messages. They're taking that information and giving it to the Nielsen's, the rating service.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant by leaky, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, by policy, they're doing that.
Yeah, but they spew everything they can get that you don't even know that you're giving, and they have the unmitigated gall to talk about privacy and rights. It's just stunning, these people.
I think that Apple, when they start to lose users or to sell less devices, when you can't innovate technology, you innovate in PR. And that Apple doing very well.
Yeah. Now, sadly, on the other side, we have Donald Trump.
The next president of our United States.
I hope not.
God, please say no. Please say no. And he's 100% with the court order. But, I guess I'll just stop it there. I don't know.
No,
who did he call ugly?
We don't want Donald Trump on our side.
No, we don't. But he is, What can I say?
Hey, I just have to come out and say that I love The Apprentice, so,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, man. Anyway, I just thought that was a funny little snapshot of...
Is he the only one that was pro, Dave?
No, everyone's pro Dave. Let's see here. We've got the National Security Agency. Well, there's no surprise. Let's see. China, yeah, they're right up there too.
And Russia.
Probably, but they're not on this list.
Mm.
And the White House press secretary. But yeah, there's more people with Apple on this list because of the origin of this article than there deserves to be. It's not a balanced thing. So,
but at the same time, you have to see that they are agreeing with Apple's stance on not giving back doors to the government, which is not what the court is asking Apple to do. That's what Tim Cook is arguing about. Mm-hmm. At the same time, these same companies that are saying that Apple shouldn't give back doors are admitting blatantly that they abide by the rules. They abide by the laws. They provide lawful access. This entire issue comes down to the fact that Apple thought that they were above the law and could make a product that shouldn't be allowed to be sold in the United States, and I'm sure in your two countries. You can't build something that cannot comply with the law. You can't.
Well, you can, but we're going to find out what happens when you do. They built it in a country that doesn't care about stuff like that. Or, they'll just take your money. Would they allow you to be that way in that country? No way. And in my country, I'd like to think, and in both of your countries, I'd like to think that there are reasons to be able to do specific things. One law can't blanket everything, in my humble opinion. I respect privacy, and I want everybody's personal communications to be private. But when somebody like this does something like this, it's ridiculous to think that you're not allowed to go deal with that. Like Roy said, why on God's green earth can't you take this little mobile computing box to the manufacturer and say, look, I need this information out of this thing because there's a quite possibility that more people are going to die. So let's do this, right? And make that happen. That should be able to happen. Should it be ubiquitous? No. Should should my government be able to see what's in my little mobile computing device, no matter whether it's made by company XYZ or ABC, while I'm driving down the road and talking to somebody or texting? No, I don't text and drive, but you know what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. There's also a case to be made by saying this is going to happen more often. And it's going to happen more often because of some form of precedent. And then what is poor little Apple going to do when the requests start coming in not once a month, not 10 a month, not 100 a month, not 1,000 a month, but hundreds of thousands, many hundreds of thousands, just because now they say they can. So who is it that's going to say, okay, well, this is a good one, and that is not? This is a good reason, and that is not. How do you stem and stop the requests? So
you don't. It comes down to each one is an individual case that is tried by law. Nobody wants a back door into any system to where the police can come in and read my notes exactly like you said as you're doing something else. But if I have committed a crime or am suspected of a crime, if I'm arrested, if I'm sitting in jail, if I have done something violent to somebody else or just something illegal to where I am now a suspect in that crime and that information is needed off my device, I fully expect that BlackBerry would give that information to the authorities. The minute you commit a crime, your privacy is out the window. The minute you're caught for a crime, your privacy is out the window. This is like Tim Cook standing up and saying, hey, prisoner number 1234 should have a private bathroom and be able to sleep in a room by himself. They don't have those rights. They don't have the right to go home after they've been arrested, convicted, and placed in jail to run home and clear the browser history on their laptop. You know, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, how to rob a bank.
Yeah, your privacy is shot, and that's a decision that you made. And if the court sees fit to serve a warrant to go into your house, to go into your car, to go into your phone, to go into your computer, there needs to be a way to do it. The government's not asking Apple to give them a backdoor so they can spy on all of us, which is what Cook is trying to say and how he's getting all these people to back their point. The government wants Apple to be able to go in and abide by warrants, as they've always done, as everyone has always done.
Yeah, I guess would it be the same as thinking that, had this not existed before, that I want to be able to have a warrant successfully be executed to go to Fred Flintstone's house and make sure that I can get in with this warrant to go and see that he's, you know, got kiddie porn on his computer. Well, Fred Flintstone having a computer, but just
say
bear with me there. Yeah, Jared from Subway, and that does not mean that I get to go to the next door neighbor's house and do it now, and the next door neighbor's house and do it now, and the other neighbor house, and the guy by across the street, and in the other town, and all of this. That's not what that means. To this day, over how many years, you still have to get a one-to-one warrant to go into Fred Flintstone's house, or Jared's, and go and, you know, investigate that computer or whatever you need to do, or go find that gun or whatever you think the issue is in that place. So I think it's misdirection to say that this one thing is going to open floodgates for everybody's phone. To me, yeah, I'll say it. It's bullshit.
You did something good, Dave. You brought up something that I think everybody could agree on. And let's go back to, good old 40 pant sizes Jared with his Subway diet of children. And if, say, it was a child molester, a child pornographer, that was, the police needed to get into their computer to get the evidence so they could put this scumbag in jail for the rest of his life, or I would prefer they just do away with the rest of his life. But say that was the case, they need this information, and the computer is I don't know, Lenovo, and Lenovo's like, sorry, you can't get into that computer. So now this person's going to go back out walking the street. Would you think the American public, I'm speaking to two people that aren't in America, so do you think the public in both of your countries would be okay with child molesters just walking right out of jail because the police couldn't get into their computer to get the thousands of images to convict them? Because that's exactly what Apple is saying. And don't think that just because this is a drug dealer murderer in New York or two terrorists here in California that murdered 14 people, that there's not a child molester out there with images on their iPhone that is right now, praising Tim Cook for ensuring that the police can't get into their phone and see their dirty little secrets.
Well, I wouldn't be saying what I was saying. I don't know. I respect people's privacy, and it's important that I be able to message on my phone, more often with BBM than not. And it's important to me that I be able to speak on my phone or any other computing device that I have, and not with the thought that I'm constantly being watched. The thing is, where I draw the line is in a case like this where somebody that is either born into this society that we've created, or comes to this society from another society, and completely and utterly violates this society in the most gruesome way. That person, like you said, Brad, absolutely has lost all their rights. And I don't understand how anybody can say that all of the tools and equipment that we can possibly bring to bear shouldn't be to protect Marianne and her baking of pies next door. I don't get the blanket excuse or the talk. I don't get it. You can't. I'm at a loss for words. I just don't get how you can say no to something like this of this much import. I don't get it.
Next week, I expect to see a picture of Marianne's pie, Dave.
I think that a lot of people, terrorists, are now sitting, reading the internet, and they're going to buy an Apple phone, and they're going to do what this awful thing they want to do, and nobody can stop them because they know that on U.S. soil, Apple will not leave them alone, and will never give the information to the U.S. authorities. It's like Apple is, like the Fox News co-host said, they co-conspirators. It's look like Apple help terrorists to accomplish their mission. It's awful.
Well, right now it would be absolutely stupid for terrorists and criminals and child molesters and anybody wanting to do something that they don't want to be seen. They should run out and buy an iPhone immediately until this is all resolved. You know, that's going to be their method of communication for a crime.
You know, criminals are not niche market, and Apple, as I said, stop their selling numbers are downside. So if they find a new market niche.
Now I'm kind of pissed off because BlackBerry always had the market cornered in criminal activity. You know, I mean, look at Sean Penn and
Pacho.
And there was a perfect case of lawful access.
Yeah.
Right. But, you know, never mind that. I mean, we had the corner, you know, the market cornered in this shit. And look at Apple eating our lunch. Which, of course, they don't deserve to. Because it is bullshit anyway.
Can I just say that BGR are a bunch of assholes?
Always.
Yeah.
I did that blog post yesterday, and I've reread their article a couple times because, like I said in my post, I'd like to go back and argue each one of those points. Not, you know, this is a hacker, a security guy, whatever he is. You know, I don't have the technical knowledge he does. I just have common sense, and there's not a single point that he makes that I couldn't sit there and roll my eyes up at. But the fact that they just pulled BlackBerry into it the way that they did, it's like it was Brad Reed sitting there going, "Oh, here's where you can throw BlackBerry in," because it was ridiculous. It had no place in that post. I knew it was only a matter of time before BlackBerry was brought into this discussion.
Yeah,
and they still will be. I mean, they obviously will.
Yeah,
but the way he did it.
Look out the window. There's a bus coming. Quick, throw the BlackBerry.
Well, I mean, BlackBerry is known as, you know, they protected our privacy for the past 20 years, whatever. They're going to be part of this discussion, and I think they know that, and that's why John Chen did that initial Inside BlackBerry post way early on, because I mean, he's not a stupid man. He knew that this was going to come up, and you could say, responded to it prematurely. You know, he's like, here's our point. This is our stance. There you go. So, like, he doesn't have to come out and make a statement about it now. He's already made it. But why couldn't they have brought, like, his statement into the conversation instead of lying about what took place in India 6 years ago?
You can't explain what goes through that virtual boardroom. You can't explain it.
Don't be Brad.
That's what I was gonna say. Someone should get to that author and tell him, you know, those classic words that a Mel Model decided to say of "Don't be a Brad" and just be done with it. You know, don't be a Brad Reed. Asshole.
Don't read, Brad Reed.
No, that is. I mean, you know, every place has its place to be, and everybody has their own opinion. But you know what? That's a pretty funny place. It's the comment sections. As much as I'd love to see lots of, that many comments on all our articles, the comment section over there is like the dirtiest, filthiest cesspool on planet Earth. It is the worst thing ever. It soils you to read and get involved with it. Sometimes it's kind of funny. This is rare. Sometimes it's kind of funny to just go there and read a little bit of it, but after about a minute or 2 minutes of scrolling, it's like driving by that horrible car accident. It's like, oh my God, the carnage! Oh, the humanity! And you got to turn left and leave. It's just disgusting. So, thanks, morons.
We went a little bit long tonight, and I mean, I could easily rant for another 3 days straight about apples, and I don't think anybody wants to hear that. So let's come back next week. By then, maybe we'll have found out what BlackBerry had up its sleeves, and fingers crossed, thumbs up, that they bring something out that makes the leakers cry this week.
Yeah.
We hope so.
And hopefully next week we'll come back and say, hey, good job on the American government for expelling Apple from its borders. I would like to see that too.
No, it will not happen, but it will be interesting to see if John Chen will place a statement about all this.
Yeah, maybe he'll yak something up at Mobile World Congress. Maybe. You never know. I don't know. But I'd just like to say thanks to Roy from Israel for coming here and telling it like it is real.
No, I don't want to end on that, Dave. I don't want to end on that.
I try to keep a straight face,
I
try to keep a straight face, but I couldn't.
I will give you something to think about for the next time. Licensing the secure Android version of BlackBerry to other OEMs.
Licensing
the secure Android version of BlackBerry to other manufacturers.
Ooh, something to think about, huh?
Yeah.
I'll give you something to think about too. John Chen bitch slapping Tim Cook. All right, guys. Let's call it a night. We will come back to that topic next week.
And we all know who Batman is on that one.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, good night, guys.
Good night.